You're listening to eCommerce Fastlane, episode 53.
Welcome to eCommerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, launch, grow, and scale a wildly successful e-commerce company. Listen to real conversations with proven practical strategies and success stories. Learn how to generate more traffic, more sales, more profit, and customer lifetime value for your Shopify store. And now, your host and e-commerce entrepreneur, Steve Hutt.
This episode is brought to you by ShopMessage.me, an incredibly powerful Shopify app. Do you want to know the secret marketing channel that Fashion Nova, Puravida Bracelets, and Movement Watches use to drive millions in revenue? The answer is Facebook Messenger, and it's powered by ShopMessage, the leading conversational marketing platform. When I saw how much revenue Shopify brands were making on Messenger, I was blown away. So I had to meet ShopMessage's co-founder and CEO, Arjun. I even recorded a podcast, episode 20, Learn Why Facebook Messenger is the e-commerce channel for the next decade and how you can capitalize. I just love the value that his company brings to brands. You will acquire more customers. You'll create more delightful interactive conversations. And most importantly, you're going to build brand loyalty. Now, for listeners of eCommerce Fastlane, ShopMessage is now offering a 30-day free trial and guarantees you'll see at least a 4x ROI on your first paid month, or they'll refund the difference. So go to shopmessage.me/Fastlane. That's shopmessage.me/Fastlane and start your 30-day free trial today. Hey there, it's Steve, and welcome back to the eCommerce Fastlane podcast. Now, if this is your first time listening, this is an e-commerce show where we have honest and transparent conversations about building and thriving online with your store powered by Shopify or Shopify Plus. Now, new episodes are available each week with your favorite podcast player through iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify. Or you can also sign up online at ecommercefastlane.com and be notified when a new show is being released. Now, on today's episode, I'm chatting with Felix, who is the head of partnerships and marketing for a wildly popular Push Owl. And more than 10,000 Shopify brands are using this solution. And essentially, it's a marketing platform that drives more conversions through web push notifications. Now, you may or may not have heard of this type of solution, but you may have seen it when you go to a Shopify store with a little pop-up that kind of says, do you mind if we send you some notifications through your web browser? It's a very, very unique marketing strategy that I think you need to pay attention to. And worst case, at least test it out on your particular store. That's what today's episode is all about, is just educating you on what web push notifications actually are, why so many brands are using it, and why the ROI is so high from building a list and at the end of the day, just more conversions and lifetime value. So that's what I hope to get out of the show today. So hi, Felix. Welcome to eCommerce Fastlane.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's talk on a high level first. I kind of brushed over a little bit the intro there about what Push Owl does, but maybe you can let us know kind of in your own words, like what problem does Push Owl solve for Shopify store owners?
On a high level, the problem we solve is you as a merchant. You have invested so much time, so much effort, so much money to bring traffic to your store. And now you want to keep these people engaged. You want to retain these store visitors, and you don't want to pay again and again and again, especially then since customer acquisition costs are rising. And Push Owl introduces an additional marketing channel for you that is direct, that is personalized, that is right on the device your shopper is already on. So that's web push notifications. Think of it as app push notifications, which we all know from our mobile phones, but we brought them now to the web. We brought them to the browser. So you can send these crisp, clickable messages directly to your buyer and potential buyer, and they show up on the phone, they show up on the desktop. It's highly visible. So think of the power you have, like you can remind your customer of that abandoned cart in a way they just cannot miss it. You can announce your product launch, your promotion with some really nice and short copy that people will actually read. So there are all kinds of automations, back in stock, price drop notifications, shipping notifications. So at PushOut, we figured out this marketing channel for you. And we have seen some really great success with merchants when doing case studies with Plus stores. We've seen ROI anywhere between 100 and 300x. So web push notifications in your marketing toolbox can really give you an edge, because right now it is a highly underutilized channel. And if used correctly, in an authentic way, it can also enhance your brand experience a lot.
I have some context to that too, because I manage one brand that has a semi-annual sale each year, and they do a significant amount of revenue on this particular sale. It's obviously very important to them. It's not quite as large as this, the Black Friday, Cyber Monday long weekend, but this one they have just pushed through. And of all of the subscribers that they had through push notifications, it drives a significant amount of traffic instantly. So when the sale launched, so they actually created a campaign, sent out this campaign right away to remind them it's happening. And then exactly when it did start at 9:00 yesterday Pacific time. And the sales are just going ballistic right now for them, all because it's just a reminder. I mean, customers are busy. There's lots of, advertising. Life gets in the way to a certain degree. The idea is if you're in front of your computer, you get in this push notification to remind you, yes, I do want to go to that store and here's the offer. It's pretty exciting how interesting, and as you call it, it's intimate, and and the click-through rate and the conversion rate of it is very, very high versus email. It's just kind of stuck in your inbox and you may or may not get to it right now.
And web push, for these timely notifications, what you just mentioned, it's perfect because you don't have to go to the email inbox. You don't have to open your SMS app. It's right there on the device where you're already on.
So let's talk about you and your role at Push Owl. It's nice to be able to get, to understand, I guess, part of the team and just the build and all that of Push Owl. So maybe you can kind of just give the Coles notes or Cliff Notes on your journey so far.
Sure, yeah. We are a super small team. We're actually 7 people catering to more than 10,000 Shopify merchants. So obviously everyone is wearing many hats. If there's a support query, we're jumping on it. But my role really is being a web push notification evangelist. That means create awareness for web push notifications, publish content, join podcasts like this. Also, explain a lot what web push notifications are to make sure there are no misconceptions, because it's relatively new and you have to clarify again and again. It's a web push notification. It's coming from the website. You don't need a mobile app. You don't need to be on the store itself. You can even have your browser minimized and whatnot. Yeah, I think web push right now is probably like emails 10 or 20 years ago, when there was a super new marketing channel and when marketers saw these crazy open rates, 80, 90%, because all the consumers were excited about getting emails. And I think, I do everything I can right now to make people aware of web push notifications as an additional marketing channel so that nobody is missing out on this great opportunity.
Yeah, know it works. And thank you for being an evangelist and kind of sharing that. I mean, that's what this podcast is all about. It's, trying to find the latest kind of strategy or tactic or app or marketing platform that really can help move the needle a little bit further in the entrepreneurial journey. So, and I know web push is definitely part of that journey or marketing tactic that I know can offer value to Shopify brands. So let's talk about maybe some of the actual use cases. This is more the tactical part of the show, but can you maybe dig into a few use cases that you see performing really well right now?
So there are many use cases, of course, for web push, and it's all about engage, retain your audience in a meaningful way. And you can also always go back to your email newsletter and what you do on social. Likely you can also do something similar with web push. So let me point out 2 major types of use cases here. One is sending campaigns. So that is where you actively work with Push Owl. For example, a product launch. Subscribers are your most engaged audience. So you got to tell them when you launch a new product. You write a headline, you write a body, you add an image, you add a link, and you send it out to all your subscribers. Or another use case, what you earlier mentioned, right? The discount, promotion, flash sale, maybe something time sensitive, creating some FOMO. Push notifications are perfect for this impulse buying because they're so visible. They're right on the screen. They really create this nudge to buy. So, for example, 2-for-1 offer, send it out to all your subscribers. Bam, there you have your flash sale again. And you can do more, all the seasonal stuff, holidays, Christmas, if you have an event on your store. So this is what I mean when I talk about sending campaigns. So these are these like one-off things where you manually write your headline, where you manually write your copy. And then the other thing is automations. So these work behind the scenes. You set it up once, abandoned cart reminders. So you set up a sequence to remind your buyers about a cart that they haven't purchased yet. Back in stock. For example, you might be a merchant that frequently runs out of stock because you have a niche business and your potential buyers end up on the product page and maybe that size or the whole product is not available. Then they can subscribe to a back in stock alert and they will automatically receive a web push notification once you restock that item. Similar, there's a price drop, similar logic. If you are a merchant that is maybe experimenting a lot with the pricing, for example, if you do fashion and you want to see, okay, what happens now if I drop that price by $10, we will automatically send a web push notification with that information to everyone who has subscribed to that particular product. And we've built more automations, shipping notifications, a welcome message. So for everyone who subscribes to your push notifications, we automatically send a greeting so you can bring them to your bestseller page. You don't just say hi and welcome them. There are a bunch of use cases for these welcome notifications.
You know, and I can see a benefit, a lot of that shipping notifications push, because I think that's one of the highly used landing pages on Shopify. When someone, places a purchase, and that's one of the places they go and double check to see, method of payment, any coupon they may have used. They go there to check and see maybe the carrier, arrival dates, just the whole kind of flow. I guess it's the confirmation page that then turns into the order notification page, and then you can kind of track along. But it's interesting that, once a tracking number is put in there, be interesting that having shipping notifications push out directly. So instead of having to click through from the email and logging in and going to that page, it's just, your order is now shipped, and having that pushed out. Quite interesting, great customer experience, I think, happening like that.
Right, I think so too, because that's what people want. That's the first question they have. That's the most frequent question actually they have about their order. It's like, hey, where is it now?
So from what I understand, so there's a manual way. So just kind of recap. So there's manual ways of using push owls. So like you said, product launches and discounts and promotional kind of things where you're creating the headline and creating the body copy and sending that potential offer out into the wild for people that have accepted push notifications on that particular brand. So that's the manual part. The automation, and I'd even call it even the scalable part, as you said, is like abandoned carts and back in stock and price drops and these sort of things. These are all like quite interesting. I think I like the scalability part, I think more as a minimum, but maybe I'll throw it up to you is like, of these ones, are there certain, I guess, campaigns or use cases that you think people should start with right away?
I think the campaigns are good, but I think people should start with the cart abandoned reminders. I think, actually, Steve, I think people should pause the podcast right now and start their cart abandoned reminders, because that is really the low-hanging fruit. Because, cart abandonment is the biggest problem that merchants are facing. I think 70% of carts are abandoned. I'm sure you even find statistics that say 80%, 85%. And our cart abandoned reminders are basically a sequence of push notifications that get sent out with different delay times. So you can change the delay time. You can also change the text. Of course, this cart abandonment reminder text should fit your brand, should fit the situation of your customer or potential customer. And then here's the huge benefit. No email address. You don't need a phone number. You don't need an email double opt-in. There's no additional checkboxes. Your push notifications are not sent to some promotional Gmail filter or spam filter. The only thing is clicking accept on that browser subscription prompt. And then you can finally target these abandoned carts. Think of the hundreds of abandoned carts you couldn't target before because you didn't have any means of contact, because you didn't have an email or phone number. So this web push notification for cart abandonment is totally changing your cart recovery game. It's damn easy.
And I'm going to add to that, I think, too, is that I also do recommend, some clients and merchants that I have the opportunity to work with. We talk about, cart recovery as being a big one. For sure, I can see top of funnel, people adding to cart. When you go into Shopify admin, you have a look to see conversion rate, and you see sometimes, upwards of 10% add to cart, but you wonder why at the bottom, or even 5% add to cart, and you wonder why at the bottom it's 1% or less, or 2%. And you're like, why are people dropping off? And there's certain other reasons, potentially, as to why they're dropping off. Maybe the shipping is not correct, or they're just thinking about it, or there's lots of different reasons why people drop off in the middle of the cart. But I guess the idea here is that I usually recommend, kind of at a minimum, it's like, well, do you have an email? Are you building an email list? Yes, I am. Okay, great. So and Shopify has it pre-built into their solution to send an email notification about an abandoned cart, a one-off anyways. When you add an email service provider, then you can get into some kind of a drip sequence of some sort. And then, it also adds things like text message. There's another opportunity out there of like, well, if people want to, during the checkout flow, there's ways of checkboxing. Yes, I don't mind getting notifications through text message instead of email for, order confirmation and delivery and these sorts of things. Interesting way that also could be used once you have that customer opting in, then you have an opportunity for a text message kind of cart recovery. And another one that comes up quite a bit is Facebook and Facebook Messenger cart recovery. And so it sounds like that there's email, text, Facebook Messenger, and push. And so there's lots of different things. So I'm worried a little bit about recovery spam. I mean, can you kind of maybe dig into what you see and kind of how merchants are dealing with the fact that, they're building an email list and they're dabbling a bit potentially in text and dabbling a bit in Facebook Messenger. And then how does web push fit into all of this kind of marketing strategy?
Here's my take on that, actually, Steve. I think your customer is smart. Your customer will decide how he wants you as a merchant to communicate with him. So some customers, they are ready to receive SMS from you, right? Some are ready to give you their email. Some are doing the opt-in for Facebook Messenger to be retargeted that way. And some just like web push notification because it's very easy to opt into these. So I think that the customer is smart. He will choose how he wants you to communicate with him. And if there's a customer who gives you the phone number and accepts web push notification, then he wants you to reach out to him in these both channels.
So when you have these subscribers, I guess, who have accepted web push notifications, so is it essentially like an email newsletter now that you have these opt-in web push type customers they've chosen to want to be communicated with through this method? I guess basically, is it like an email newsletter, I guess?
There's a lot of similarities. Also, we see merchants, if they have larger teams, the guy who's sending the email newsletters is usually also taking care of the web push notifications because there is certain similarity. You write a headline, you write a body text, and then you can send quasi newsletters to all your subscribers. So these push campaigns can be sent to the subscribers who earlier opted in on your website, or a segment of these, of course. So you can segment your subscribers, for example, buyers, non-buyers. And by the way, we see 80 to 90% of all subscribers actually being non-buyers. You can do location-based segmentation. For example, if you sell in multiple countries, you can localize your messaging. You can segment by the device, mobile versus desktop. And we are building more stuff right now. We're building actually segments for subscriber activity. So that means you can segment based on which products or collections the potential buyer is browsing or how they have been interacting with push notifications before. And then, of course, purchase behavior, like how many orders did that subscriber have? What's the order value? These are also very interesting segments we are right now building, and they're coming soon.
Awesome. So number one would be to add the cart recovery option, which is, the automation, the scalable automation part. People are coming, they're adding to cart, they've accepted push notifications, and then there's, a process, as you said, you can adjust, the reminder time points, like 20 minutes and a couple hours, and maybe the next day or second day. And so you get that kind of cadence with people.
And also the text. And also the text of the cart abandonment reminder can, of course, be customized.
Right, yeah, because you don't want to look too robotic. And you're right. And I find that too, where, even through email or Facebook and things like that, when someone abandons a cart, maybe they're just busy. You don't have to drop your pants, so to speak, and just offering discounts right away. Sometimes it really is, I'm just busy right now, or I'll get to it later, or I'm going to think about it, or maybe there's a technical problem with the checkout flow for them, or internet, and who knows, a million different things. But the idea is, hey, you had something added to your cart, we're having some difficulty checking out, is kind of the first, or hey, we're all busy. I get it. I'm saving your cart for the next 24 hours, and here's your link. That's a very interesting kind of first touch point without having to give away any margin, so to speak. And then maybe if that doesn't happen after a certain amount of hours, then offering some kind of an incentive or a freebie, a promotion, a coupon, that could be added on. And then for sure, getting more aggressive maybe a day or two later, because they've kind of really almost forgotten about you a day or two later. And can you put them over the edge? And I'm sure you must have kind of stats that show push notifications to saying, well, if I'm going to do, I'm going to call it like a discount ladder, I guess, so to speak. But it's like, if it's 20 minutes and then maybe a couple hours and another day, where do you see the highest conversion rate of an abandoned cart? In the first, second, or third, or does it blend nicely through all three?
The most people actually come back after the first reminder. That's the one that shows the best conversion rate.
Well, it kind of makes sense though too, because it's something they're thinking about. They're actively searching around. They just added to the cart and they're thinking about it, and they're still in front of their computer. They've accepted push notifications. Then all of a sudden, oh yeah, and they're looking around, and then boom, they get this thing back. Oh yeah, and back they go, and then make a purchase.
Life is very distracting, and you get somewhere else. You get to another page, right? And that's the good thing about web push, because you can be 100% sure that notification is reaching your buyer on the same device they have been already on.
So we have the automation part working. And how about any campaigns like that we're actually going to send out? Do you have any kind of best practices that you have found?
So when people start out sending campaigns, of course, they need to understand, their audience, what products they sell. We have like a bunch of little tips, little hacks we give merchants that are just starting out sending campaigns. And that, for example, would be, what content is working well on social media? What email newsletter has a nice open rate and a nice click rate? Why don't you use that and rephrase and make it very crisp? Because obviously web push notifications are much shorter than an email newsletter. Right. And why don't you use that and start your push campaigns that way?
Yeah, I like that. I think short and sweet and to the point. And then how many campaigns per week are you kind of recommending?
When merchants start out, we recommend sending just 2 campaigns a week, and then look into your click rate and experiment with that frequency of sending. Of course, also experiment with the messaging, and then kind of find a sweet spot because it's always a conflict. Like, you don't want to spam your audience, you don't want to lose it, right. But you also know, hey, they have subscribed, they want to hear from me.
So let's talk about the click rate. You talked about the click and the open rate, and it's just how, I guess, intimate and personal it is to be able to have a push notification come, if it's an abandoned cart or if it's an outbound kind of a campaign. Based on what you have seen with, over 10,000 Shopify brands that are using Push Owl, what sort of open and click rate are you seeing?
From our data, so we handle 5 million push notifications a day by now. And from our data for sending these one-off campaigns, we see click rates between 5 and 10%. So there's only a click rate in contrast to email marketing, where you also have an open rate. That actually is non-existent in web push, because having a push notification delivered also means they are open, they are on the screen.
Fair enough.
And then once you get more aggressive into sending, these click rates may go down to 2.5%. That's like a bottom band we see.
So let's talk about some of these campaigns then. Is there anything specific? I guess I'm getting deeper into tactics here now, but is there any almost like actionable tips and things that you can recommend that would really help improve the click rate?
So in general, one thing to realize about web push campaigns, especially when you come with an email marketing mind, is there's no spam filter. There's no Gmail promotion filter. You can really write your best marketing copy without being afraid that you end up in some, promotional folder. Right. And in terms of actionable tips, let me give you like 5 ideas you can apply directly to your push campaigns. And we get these insights from working with these 10,000 merchants and figuring out what works for them. So one thing that works really well, using emojis. Because, they're so attention grabbing, and that push notification comes on your screen and there's one emoji or 3 emojis. So that works really well for the click rate because it just gets more eyeballs. Another thing that is important, you got to be crisp. You got to be very exact. You got to be very clear. You have very few characters and you want people to click. You don't want them to wonder, like, oh, what's that? What does that mean? You want them to click. So your copy needs to be, very much to the point. Then one more thing is that you can add images to push notifications if you send them for Android and Windows. And these actually come in different dimensions. So we advise to always take that little bit of extra time and figure out 2 different dimensions for these images. Similar as you would not run the same image for a Facebook ad and Instagram ad, Take that extra time and optimize your graphic assets even further. That's something not all merchants know, by the way. Shopify also has the capacity to pass on a discount link in an URL. So if you are having a promotion and if you're passing around a 10% discount code with your push notification, make sure that you're using this URL that is holding the coupon code. Because what you don't want to have is you promise a coupon code, people come to your store, they are checking out and they're like, what was my coupon code again? So by using that URL, you can make sure that the coupon code is directly applied. And when they check out, they have exactly the same coupon code that was promised to them in the web push notification.
Right.
And then lastly, web push notification can be super personal just by the messaging you do. But then also at PushOwl, we introduced variables for first name, for example. So you can actually put a variable in your push notification before you send it out. And then it will say, hi, Steve, why don't you check out our new summer collection, And that will much more likely make the people click on that notification.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it. These are all, I'm going to make sure these all go in the show notes because I think each of these tactics are awesome. And I think they're, if you were trying to improve this click rate, that's the way to do it. Emojis, as you said, crisp and I have a whole bunch of notes here, but emojis, be crisp and clear and exact. And yeah, I'd highly recommend also, get these hero images modified accordingly based on device. And yeah, this discount link inside Shopify through the URL is like money, and as far as I'm concerned, because people wonder, and a lot of times you see different types of banner solutions at the top. Hey, this is our promotions, our sale. Use this discount code and apply it in the cart. No, how about just give me the link with the coupon code already as part of it, right? And have it automatically auto insert into the cart pages, right? So, are there any more advanced features that PushOwl can offer Shopify merchants?
PushOwl has been built always listening a lot to the merchants. And we have, everybody has been on customer support a lot. Everybody has heard all the problems that merchants have or the feature requests they have. And based on that, we have built some very nice features for our enterprise customers. For example, smart delivery. So smart delivery helps you to send the push notification at the right time to make the sale. Because people are not always ready to purchase, right? Or they might just be in different time zones. So smart delivery is a feature that will optimize the sending of each web push notification based on the individual subscriber activity. So you can make sure, or you can be more likely sure, that the push notification is actually reaching your subscriber at the right point of time to make a sale. Another thing, we built flash sale feature. So, I mean, what's the pain point here, right? The pain point is you make a Sunday promotion. You're sending out you're sending out your email newsletter. You are advertising that on social media, and people end up seeing it on Monday. Great. So that's not helping. So with push notifications, what you actually can do if you use our flash sale feature is you can cancel the pending push notifications that haven't been seen. So in our case, you promote your Sunday offer, and everybody who only comes online with their device on Monday, they will just not see it.
I see. So, and flash sales are massive. I know bots is a big conversation that's been chatted about as of late, but flash sales in general, overall, really help elevate a brand. So, just more of a side note, for those listening today, if you have an opportunity have a limited release or some kind of exciting product that you want to release to the market and create some hype, a flash sale is an amazing way of getting social media involved in all of your sales channels and pushing it out and offering it at this particular date and time, this particular product, limited quantity, hot price. And I have seen many flash sales massively blow up. And it sounds like Push Owl was a great way, as part of a sales channel, as part of an overall experience of sharing the opportunity to buy this product, is to push out to those that have opted in through Push Owl that this is available. And in the rare case that it's, as you said, it's rolled over, it's time sensitive, or you've sold out, you're able to kind of cancel it and even possibly create another campaign and saying, hey, sign up to our newsletter to be, reminded on our next integration. Thanks so much for, opportunity or potential opportunity you had to buy, but we're sold out. So interesting way of looking at it.
And flash sales, we see a lot of our merchants being very successful with advertising their flash sales with web push notifications.
So let's talk about integrations then. Smart delivery, I love the time zone part of it too. I think it's super important. Internationalization and people selling around the world, you don't necessarily want to have a push notification going out at the wrong date, wrong time. And it's just so, and when you geo-target and things, it's so interesting that smart delivery component is built into the solution. I love the flash sale part, but what about integrations with other apps? When I do app audits and take a look at, the merchants that I work with, they're running 10, 20, 30 different apps usually to enhance the overall customer experience and things that they need that are not part of the Shopify core solution. So does Push Owl connect to other popular apps?
Yes, we do. We connect to a lot of very popular apps. In general, we're very well connected in the Shopify partner ecosystem. And we also think web push is just adding such a better user experience to many of the normal flows, because usually everybody's just using email. And now with web push, you can actually build a nicer solution for your customers. For example, we integrate with Judge Me Luke's Stamped for sending review requests. The problem they are facing is that people don't read their review request emails anymore. So you can use Push Owl and integrate with these review apps to send the review requests with web push. So then the buyer sees a push notification, please review, product ABC. They click there. They are on the product page, on the form to fill out the review. Another solution where we integrate with is the Now Back in Stock app. So that one allows you to enter your phone number, enter your email to get information when the product is back in stock. And by integrating, you can now also get the web push notifications. And one other important app integration we do is with Fara AI. So Fara AI is a real-time personalization app. And if you integrate with Push Owl, that app can trigger sending web push notifications. So for example, if Fara AI detects that a visitor is browsing on the collection page for a very long time, they can send out a web push notification through Push Owl, and then it can motivate that browser to become a buyer.
So there's a lot of different types of entrepreneurs that are listening to this episode, to this show, and some of them have migrated up to Shopify Plus, which is kind of the mid-market enterprise version. And there's some extra value you get being on Shopify Plus. Can you talk about how Push Owl is integrating themselves with these kind of higher volume, higher growth merchants?
We are serving currently more than 500 Shopify Plus stores actually. And what we did to serve them better is we built a flow connector for Shopify Plus. So for those that are not familiar, Shopify Flow is a workflow builder exclusively for Shopify Plus. And the workflows you can build is in the structure of if this, then that. So to give an example, you can make a trigger that is, if the customer has 5 orders, then send an individual push notification. For example, say, congratulations, thank him for his 5th order, give him another coupon. So you can also send with Shopify Flow push notifications to all your subscribers. For example, if you're doing a product launch, you can make a trigger if a product has the tag product launch, then send push notifications to all your subscribers.
I see.
So I think Shopify Flow is very, very interesting when you want to build more of these personalized interactions between your brand and the customers. Because that is really, like, Flow introduces another scalable way to send push notifications. And they really stand apart from all the general email marketing and the general ads you see out there. And you can also, Push Owl is now in the Shopify Flow app by default. So you can get all the Push Owl workflows from the Shopify Flow app directly. So you don't have to start building them from scratch.
And then, so that's all part of the trigger, the condition, and the action. And part of that inside the Flow app is these select partners that are, so it's almost like, to me, Flow is definitely Shopify's take on automation. It's really helping the scalability and kind of doing a lot of things in the back office to, like you said, in this particular case, if the orders, if this is their 5th order, or if this is their 1st order, or if they ordered a particular product, there's all many different campaigns and different things that you can do, all triggered after an order is created or whatever you want to use it for. So we have quite a few brands that are, in the top 100 probably on Shopify that are, have made the choice to use Push Owl as part of their web push notification solution. And so because of that high growth and high volume, how are you connecting to those types of brands?
What we do for these top 100 brands, top 100 Shopify Plus brands, as you call them, we can build a private Push Owl app for them. And the benefit of this is that if you work with your merchant success manager from Shopify Plus, you can get a custom Shopify API limit. So if you use the normal public app store app, you have a certain limit of how many API calls you can do with Shopify. But with that private app, you can get a custom rate. So that can help you to work at that scale you are on right now.
That's perfect. Okay, that's awesome. So I'll make sure that I have all of the links in the show notes about what Flow is and how it connects. And I know there's quite a few blog posts and stuff out there about the partners that have connected to Flow. And I think it's a nonstop kind of iterative process of continually adding on these app partners that are making a difference on the Shopify ecosystem, and just how Flow can connect and help automate and streamline the whole experience, and then let other team members, human beings, actually do other high value tasks than things that could be automated. So I have another question here that I feel is important about how to get people to actually subscribe to push notifications, because I think it's always a challenge where you don't want to be spammy, but you want the opportunity, because I look at it from email. How do you get an email address? Or how do you get people to opt into a Facebook Messenger opt-in? Or how do you get people to opt in for a text message? I think it's the exact same question for push notifications. How do people opt in? And are there some best strategies or tactics you can kind of recommend that you've seen other merchants utilize?
Yes, so that's a great question. Push notifications, you subscribe to them by opting in on this browser subscription prompt you get from your browser. So to be very descriptive here, if you're on a desktop, that's something you see on the top left. If you're on a mobile phone, that is what you see in the center or bottom of your mobile phone. And it's a little dialog box. It reads, so-and-so domain wants to show notifications. And then you got two buttons, accept and block. As a store visitor, you only need one click on accept, and then you can send push notifications to that subscriber. And the beauty of this is, of course, there's no more need for additional personal information, no email address, no phone numbers. It's all done by clicking this one button, accept.
Is there any ways of making people more likely to want to opt into this push notification little window?
There are two things we see our merchants using to increase that subscriber rate. One thing is delay times. So push owl allows you to change the timing for when you want to show that browser subscription prompt on mobile or desktop. And there are a lot of reasons why you actually want to delay this further. This might be counterintuitive, but if you think about it from a customer perspective, you don't want that thing right in your face in the first second you end up on the store, right?
Yeah.
So you might want to get informed. You might want to understand, okay, what's the feel? What is this page even about?
Right.
And additionally, there might be a video showing, or there might be email or phone number capture. So there's quite a few reasons why you want to delay these dialog boxes a little bit. And yeah, the other thing we see merchants doing is adding an overlay. So the browser subscription prompt, that is controlled by the browser. You cannot change it. We cannot change it. Nobody can change it. But Push Owl allows you to put an overlay on top of that. And that one you can actually customize. So you can explain why your store visitor should click accept, because you can announce what kind of notifications you're going to send. You can explain what will be the benefit for the subscriber if he accepts.
I see. So the browser itself has the little window on the desktop on the left-hand corner that, let's say eCommerce Fastlane is requesting you to accept or deny or block web push notifications. And so they do that. So that's the one way. But with this text overlay, does that replace that opt-in in the left-hand corner, or is it physically superimposed on top of it? Or is it a pop-up that just says, hey, see that thing up in the corner over there? Can you please click it? Because here's what you get.
It's like that, yeah. So we can never remove the browser subscription prompt. That's like a hard rule imposed on us by the browser. Okay. But as you mentioned, like we add this overlay that will talk about that browser subscription prompt, which you are about to see. Mm. And actually, I want to give one more tip. Something I've seen recently that was really nice. Cool. So a merchant built the following thing. He added to the overlay the text "subscribe," and you will get a 10% coupon. So that was the text on the overlay. Then, of course, the subscriber or the store visitor knows, okay, I got to click accept. And then the merchant is using our automatic welcome notification to send that coupon to him. So that's how he's building his push notification subscriber list.
That's a good one. I'm going to make sure I add that. And maybe in the show notes, we'll give a couple examples of people using that sort of text overlay to kind of motivate people, getting a welcome notification to accept it and get the coupon. I mean, there's so many different ideas and stuff. I think the more we share about what's possible, and the big thing is testing. You don't know until you try it. You know your customers best for those that are listening today, but it's certainly worth a test. Try it. Because there's so many different people listening to this podcast has been growing massively. And because of that, there's a full range of people from early stage startups all the way through to the top 100 or 150 on plus are listening to the show inside Shopify and outside. And so knowing that, and we have like I said, diverse range, can you maybe, because you got over 10,000 customers, I thought maybe you could give some advice. I guess maybe let's start with the early stage e-commerce entrepreneurs. Like, what sort of things would you recommend or that you see being successful for early stage entrepreneurs?
For sure. And we love all our merchants, right? Like having 10,000 merchants, we love all of them and working with them. So for the early stage merchants, I would say, first of all, your store must be good. Like you must have a proper store setup already. Push Owl is not an acquisition tool that will magically drive sales to your store, but it is a tool that will get the people back. So if they liked your store and then they subscribe, and Push Owl will then help you to have an easy way to get these people back to your store.
Right.
What I'm recommending is that people start from day one to collect these push subscribers, similar to email. Like you would also not start email capture after 2 years. You would always start from day one. And it's the same with push notifications. Right. And for that reason, we have built a free plan, a free forever plan that has unlimited subscribers. So you can always, you do not have to be on the business or enterprise plan. You can just keep on collecting the subscribers. And as soon as you're ready, you can also send them campaigns. And one more thing for the people who are just very early in the game, very early starting out, Push Owl also has an early stage plan. So for those folks out there that make less than $10,000 in annual revenue and fulfill some further criteria, we have an early stage plan. So that allows you to use Push Owl for free. And I'm sure we can add like a link in our podcast notes here. Yep. People can check if they're eligible for the early stage plan.
Yeah, 100%. I'll make sure that's added to the show notes. So what about those that are in the mid-market or enterprise? Maybe they have a small team and, they're eager to grow and scale. What should maybe the executive team or the marketing team, what should they be working on with those brands?
Web push notification, that's happening right now. I think that is something that more and more merchants are starting to use right now. And I would, even if you're busy, even if you have just one marketing guy, or even if you're a small team, start using web push notifications right now before it's ruined, like email. Email used to be great, and now the open rates are going down. And web push notification, that is something that more and more people are using right now. So make sure you grab the low-hanging fruits. It's really low effort. It's just a headline, it's a sub-headline image link, and then you got it. And I also have some hacks, which I tell merchants that are busy. Reuse your social media, reuse your newsletter content to send campaigns. That's also very easy to get started. And we also constantly create new notification templates on our blog. So if you see Christmas is coming, but your designer is busy, or you see that some other holiday is there, we are uploading to our blog these notification templates. You can download them, and they are images, they are guidelines, and then you can, within minutes, you have a new relevant holiday campaign started and created, ready to be sent out. And then, as mentioned before, right, abandon cart reminders. Set up your sequence, add some very nice copy to it.
Yeah, all in on the cart abandonment reminder. So I know that one definitely is a big money earner, because when you look in the admin and you can see how many people have added to cart, and then you see what your final conversion rate is, 100% you are going to create more revenue by turning this on. I mean, that's the end of it. So we'll talk about some trials and things, and there's some free plans and things, like just add it to your store and test it out. In a worst case, turn the cart recovery on, and you will see a lift in revenue. End of story.
If that's the only thing people are taking away from this, I will be happy.
Okay. So let's talk about the future. We're close to the end of the episode, but let's talk about the I guess the future for Push Owl, like the roadmap for the rest of 2019. I see that you're part of Flow and you have some good partner alignment, but can you just kind of share where you believe Push Owl is going for the future and their roadmap?
We are listening right now a lot to the merchants, trying to understand how they use Push Owl, what kind of feature requests, what kind of integration requests they have. And I see two types of features that are going to be very dominant on our roadmap. One thing is basically bringing everything you as a merchant know from email, bringing that to web push. And the other thing is just a much more deeper integration with Shopify, because a merchant is using 10, 20 tools. They want to have a seamless experience. For them, it's not Push Owl and then another app and another app. They see it as their marketing toolbox that needs to work together. So what that means is we want to integrate with much more other apps like loyalty, shipment, to make sure that web push notifications are built on these existing functionalities. Mm-hmm. And in terms of precise features, we are building right now drip campaigns, abandoned browser reminders. So that means if your store visitor is not paying attention to that particular tab anymore, they can get a web push notification. Post-purchase upsell automation, so that after somebody purchased something, you automatically send them another offer. So these are the features we are looking into for the roadmap 2019.
Excellent. So excited for all that. I'll make sure links go in the show notes. Anytime you have an update to any new features, just ping me directly and I'll make sure I update your show notes, because it really could depend on when the listeners are listening to this particular episode. Things may have upgraded since this recording, and you can always go back to the show notes for this particular episode with all the latest features, and all the links will be there for you at that point. So, as I mentioned, we are nearing the end of the show, but do you have any closing comments or any takeaways that you would like to leave with our listeners today?
I want to state in the end, we really care about our merchants. So we have 1,700 reviews in the Shopify App Store, and not a single one of them is 1 or 2 stars. And that's just due to our dedicated customer support. Mm-hmm. And because we have really developed a product that always had the merchant in mind, that always considered what is the need, how is the merchant using it. Right. And web push notification, it is such an important marketing strategy that 100% of brands should test it on their store and confirm for themselves the crazy return on investment that can be achieved by sending these notifications.
It's a great summary. So at the end of the day, we do offer, we talked kind of offline before we started recording today about an offer that's available. And, I'll first say that, you can go to the App Store for sure and just find Push Owl and add it to your store. And I'm going to make sure in the show, it's eCommerce Fastlane /Push Owl. It will link to where you need to go, pushowl.com. All of that's available. Can you share what kind of offer that you want to give to listeners today?
So we will provide your listeners with a 30-day extended trial. So that we hope will give everybody the best opportunity to try out Push Out, to try the cart abandonment reminder for 30 days, to see what Push Out has to offer for them.
That's perfect, because I think that's the whole idea. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. And so until you add it, it's, and don't have your own preconceived notions. So I think that's one issue that I find where, I don't like pop-ups, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Okay, well, that's you as an individual, but you just, the ROI and the case studies are there that prove that this is a really hot marketing tactic right now. And it's really, really, really helping brands, both from the automation side, the cart recovery side, and then the campaign kind of manual side. The key is that you've been very kind to offer this 30-day extended trial, so at least people can add it to their store. And obviously, the busier you are, the more opt-ins for this, the more opportunity you have with data to be able to say, is it working or is it not working? But you certainly have 30 days to give it a whirl and try it. And in a worst case, cart recovery solution turned on, the cart recovery solution on, and then maybe try a campaign a week of trying to push and recommend a certain product. I think you'll see a lift in revenue. So, but it's worth a test to try it. So, and that's why I had you on the show today. So, thanks again, Felix. I massively appreciate it. I've got pages and pages of notes here. Life of learning, right? That's the only way to live. And this is a great solution. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I had a great time.
All right, take care. This episode is brought to you by ShopMessage, the marketing channel trusted by top Shopify brands like Fashion Nova, Puravida Bracelets, Movement Watches, and many more. Now, don't forget, take advantage of their generous 30-day free trial by visiting shopmessage.me/Fastlane. That's shopmessage.me/Fastlane. You'll get priority onboarding and a 4x ROI guaranteed just for Fastlane listeners. So go check them out. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you, a loyal listener of eCommerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, launch, grow, and scale with Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.